Welcome back, everybody. My name is Ace. This is the Wolf's Garage channel, and I'll be going through the mana sustain portion of my build. It seems to have confused a lot of people for some reason. They seem to be missing very important mandatory elements that were present in my POB. So to clear up any confusion, I'm just going to go through it step by step and help you guys out by understanding how it all functions. Now, every single step, as I said, is mandatory. But fortunately enough, it is cheap, straightforward, deterministic, and luckily enough, also the best way to solve mana on this build the way we have done it. Any other build attempt within the confines of my current idea of my particular build require recrafts and inefficient passive tree shenanigans, ultimately leading to a less powerful build with less damage, less tankiness, to solve mana in an even more inefficient way. So don't worry about it. This is the best way in my opinion. By all means, I suggest you explore yourself, but it doesn't get much simpler than these four elements, starting with the gem, an anomalous greater multiple projectile support. As you can see, the second line there, supported skills of 20% reduced mana cost. That's 20% taken care of right there. It's a pretty cheap gem. Quality, old qualities on the GMP are pretty affordable compared to their awakened variants, but awakened doesn't really increase our damage anyway, and we have plenty of projectiles to go around. So you want to get the anomalous GMP as your first part of the equation. The second one is even easier and cheaper, because you can craft your own Quicksilver flasks of the Order. You just alt spam until you get Alchemist with an open as you can see, an open suffix, then you benchcraft the mana cost of skills during effect. Now, if you don't have this benchcraft, you can obtain it quite simply by going to the trait. If you are in trait, that is. You can go to trait and search for Cinder Swallow Earn Silver Flask. And then make sure you have Veiled on. Yes. You search for them. And then for a decent amount of chaos, you can start unveiling them. And when you do, when you find the mana cost reduction, you click that, and then you can find it on your crafting bench as if you are just crafting a normal item, as you can see right there. That's literally how simple it is. Now, that's the, of course, second part of the equation. The third part of the equation might be missed by some people because it requires two elements. First of all, it requires both rings to have the non-channeling skills craft. And these rings are very, very easy to craft. They're incredibly easy to craft. So all you do is you slam a -7 non-channeling skills to total mana cost on. That's all it takes. And then with the catalyst for life and mana modifiers, I think at 13 or 14%, it flips over to -8, allowing you a total of -16 to non-channeling skills, which is really good. So that's part 3. And then the final part, and this is the unfortunate tricky part for some folk, you need to get this boot enchant, reduced mana cost of skills if you have been hit recently, because Forbidden Rite always hits you. And this allows it to be completely cheap. This allows you to also cast this incredibly expensive haste, because everything is active except for this mana cost reduction here. We cast Forbidden Rite once, it's free, as is our Forbidden Rite. But then after 4 seconds, if we have not hurt ourselves, or we have been hurt, it suddenly becomes more expensive again. So those are the 4 elements you need. The flask, the gem, the double ring, and the boot. That is it. If you have all those parts, and they're very deterministic to get, because you can quite easily buy an evasion included base with this particular enchant and craft a basic pair of boots with them, as well as deterministic crafts on the flask and the rings, and you're good to go. And yeah, it is unfortunately mandatory, because no matter if you take out any given element, as you can see, mana cost is 0 here in POB. We take out the GMP, it costs 8. Now, I've got a lot of mana regen on my build because I unveiled my life on the rings, but most people don't have mana regen. They have better life, which is the preferred ring, of course, to have more life. In which case, you can't even sustain a little bit of mana cost. So you would have to facilitate that, of course, by making sure you have this gem. In addition to that, if you take off the boots, oh no, things are expensive. If you take off your ring, just the one, things are expensive, or, start having a price. So you have to be wary of that. And the same thing with the Alchemist Quicksilver as well. As you can see, a massive price hike in mana cost. So just get those 4 things and you'll be fine. That's all it takes. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this cleared up the confusion. And I will see you guys on the other side. I'm out.